Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Huh.
Today we're tackling something truly epic.
Oh,
Yeah, the sprawling creative universe of Doza Crew and Nova Pack. We get these two huge lists here,
okay.
and they barely scratch the surface, I think, of their output. Trust me, it's quite a rabbit hole.
I believe it. The sheer scale you're talking about. It really speaks to, well, a relentless creative drive, doesn't it? And a deep engagement with making music.
Totally.
It's a fascinating challenge, though. How do you even start to make sense of such a vast amount of work?
Exactly. So look, one list seems to be like their core catalog, original tracks, series with multiple parts, collaborations. Think titles like Grand Theft Audio Vol. 09 and maybe Mike's Waffenfax SO5, stuff like that.
Yeah, series-based stuff.
And the other list,
Yeah.
wow, it's just a mountain of remixes. Remixes they've done for, a mind-boggling array of artists.
Right. From, I suppose, really big names to maybe more underground sounds, the range of musicians who wanted their remix touch,
Yeah.
it sounds incredibly wide.
It really is.
Yeah.
So our mission today, and we're definitely choosing to accept it, is to see if we can pull out some Cree insights from all this material.
Right.
What patterns are hiding in plain sight? What themes? Who are they working with consistently?
And maybe even get a sense of how their sound might have, evolved.
Exactly. Okay, let's try and unpack this. Starting with Doza Crew's original releases,
Makes sense.
that Grand Theft Audio series, it just jumps right out. We're seeing like volume 01 all the way to 09.
Wow, 9 volumes.
And who knows what else isn't numbered, right?
Yeah.
That kind of sustained series, it suggests a real dedication to a certain sound or idea, wouldn't you say?
Precisely. A series that runs that long, it probably signifies a consistent creative vision. And maybe a loyal audience that connects with whatever's going on in those releases.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder about maybe the narrative, even if it's abstract, that ties those volumes together.
Right. Then we bump into these other series that really pique your curiosity, like Mike's Waffenfax.
Huh.
We've got seasons 1 through 5 listed there. The name itself, Waffen, German for weapons. That's a strong hint, isn't it?
It is. What could that be about?
I don't know.
Well, considering the title, you could speculate, maybe, it delves into sound design.
Right.
Or manipulating audio in ways that, I don't know, incorporate weapons sounds.
Bing?
The seasonal structure, too. It suggests maybe distinct explorations. Or maybe narratives unfolding across those seasons. Could each season focus on a different concept related to the theme?
Interesting thought. And then there's Doza Deep Dives.
Huh, sounds familiar.
Right. Feels a bit meta. We see titles under that like Cats and Gold, Hyper Universal, Crew Lore, Summerfest, even Malzeitkule.
Malzeitkule. Okay, enjoy your meal, buddy.
Yeah, that one really throws a curveball. It makes you wonder if these aren't like strictly musical tracks. Maybe something else entirely. Spoken word, field recordings, sonic experiments outside normal song structures. What do you make of that range?
That's a very sharp observation. The sheer variety in those titles.
Mhm.
It certainly hints at a creative approach that isn't just, traditional music.
Right.
They could be audio essays, glimpses into their world, maybe more abstract sound collages. It raises the question, are they using sound to tell stories or explore ideas beyond typical song formats?
Exactly. And then, okay, you see these standalone titles that just conjure up images. Psychotic, surrealist music, apocalypse, Stillnacht.
Yeah.
In German, these feel like little self-contained sonic worlds. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The collaborators.
Ah, yes.
And Doza Crew's original stuff.
Yeah.
Names like Damon, Kyram, Jamon Mikkel, OTZ. They keep popping up.
Okay.
We even have specific tracks listed like Doza Crew and Damon Smack and Doza Crew and Kyram Principal. It seems like they're part of a tight-knit creative circle.
Yeah, that strong collaborative element. It points to a vibrant, connected, artistic community, doesn't it?
It does.
Working consistently with the same group, you can develop a shared language, explore deeper sonic possibilities together. It's like a musical collective almost.
Yeah, exactly. And check this out. A lot of the entries, especially from something called dozaarch.pdf, have numbers next to them,
Like a catalog system.
almost like an inventory. It doesn't look strictly chronological, but it does suggest a very methodical way of managing this huge catalog.
That's interesting. Organization amidst the chaos.
Kind of. We even see Dozatech and Dozarap listed somewhat separately.
Oh, sublabels maybe?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Different imprints or maybe distinct stylistic paths within the bigger Doza Crew project. What might those labels even imply sonically?
Well, that's a fascinating point. Dozatek, I mean, that could lean towards harder electronic sounds, right? Techno, maybe harder dance stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
Whereas Doza Rap obviously suggests hip-hop or rap influences, more rhythmic, maybe vocal-centric stuff.
Right.
This kind of labeling suggests they really engage with the different facets of electronic music.
Okay, let's switch gears now. Let's look at Novapak's own original tracks.
Okay. Novapak's contributions.
They've got a pretty solid list themselves. Titles like Nazard, Abwartz, Tand, and then others that feel almost like code or experiments, NVPK, GRD, Scants.
Yeah, those are more abstract.
There's definitely a sense of a distinct artistic identity here, too. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. While you see the collaboration, this list clearly shows Novapak as a creative force on their own, with a distinct sound.
Yeah.
Those titles you mentioned, especially the more abstract ones, they do hint at maybe a more experimental or perhaps minimalist direction sometimes.
Could be. And just like Doza Crew, Novapak has their own regular collaborators.
Right.
JMN and GRD seem prominent, but also RKRD and Gillet. We see Novapak and JMO Naktob, Novapak and GRD Nullinger.
Okay, so similar patterns of collaboration.
Yeah, seems like there's this core network that both Doza Crew and Novapak tap into. What's the significance of these recurring pairings, do you think?
Well, it just underscores that whole idea of community again, doesn't it? And shared creative vision.
Yeah.
Going back to the same people, it likely fosters deeper understanding, lets you explore more nuanced combinations of sounds, like a band with regular members developing synergy.
Good analogy. Okay, brace yourself now.
Uh-oh.
We're diving into the remix work.
Yeah.
And this list is truly staggering.
How staggering.
They've put their spin on tracks by...
Uh-oh.
Okay, Marilyn Manson, The Prodigy, Daft Punk, Snoop Dogg.
Wow, okay. Big names across genres.
And get this, Richard Wagner.
Wagner, the opera composer.
The 19th century opera composer.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows an incredible range, right, musically. And the ability to just reimagine totally different sonic worlds.
Indeed. Tackling such diverse artists, spanning genres, and even centuries, it speaks volumes, not just about technical skill, but about understanding musical structures, finding the core essence of different styles.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to a broad musical intelligence.
And it's not just like one-off remixes either. We're seeing multiple reworks for Marilyn Manson for The Prodigy.
Ah, recurring artists.
Which makes you wonder, is there a particular affinity there? Or did those projects just offer really fertile ground for them?
Could be either or both.
But the remix titles themselves, often pure gold, Doza Dum Dum Mix, Doza Diatomized Mix, Doza Wrong Planet Mix, Doza No Hope Mix.
Huh. Those are great.
They often give you a real clue about the kind of sonic journey they're taking the original track on. You know, what do those titles suggest about their remixing philosophy?
Well, these imaginative titles, they offer a fantastic glimpse into their process, I think. They're not just adding a new beat, right?
Yeah.
They're clearly engaging conceptually, crafting a distinct Doza or Novapak version. The titles evoke a mood, maybe a mini narrative that shapes their sound, like telling a new short story using the original track as a prompt.
That's a great way to put it. And it's fascinating, too, that the remix work isn't just under the Doza Crew banner.
Ah, Novapak remixes, too.
Novapak tackles their own remixes, yeah. And, just like their originals, they often collaborate on these reinterpretations, bringing in the same circle. Damon, Kyrem, OTZ, RKRD, Mikkel, Gillet, Paste, JMO.
So that whole web extends to the remixes.
It's this incredibly fluid, interconnected web of partnerships. What does that kind of collaborative remixing tell us?
It just highlights how deeply collaborative their whole thing is. The lines between individual projects, joint ventures, they seem really permeable.
Oh, they like blurry.
Suggests a dynamic, adaptable style. Ideas and skills are freely swapped, even when reworking existing music. It reinforces that idea of a strong, connected, creative ecosystem.
And then this is interesting. We have these MWF entries popping up in the remix list.
MWF.
Yeah, things like MWF 400 Season 03 Recap and MWF 302 Handgun Harmonists.
Ah, Mike's Waffen Facts.
Exactly. Clear callback to that series in their original works.
Okay.
So these could be audio snippets, maybe expansions on those themes, or are they remixing their own?
It's remixing their own series content. That's unusual.
And we even see Doza Deep Dive mentions in the remix list too. Hoopen said, Crew Lore. It further blurs those lines. And then there's Doza Deeper Dive, Doza Projects Leak.
Wow. Projects Leak. Sounds intriguing.
Doesn't it? What do you make of this sort of intermingling of their own series within their remix work?
That is quite unique. It suggests a very integrated vision, that they're not just remixing others, they're remixing and recontextualizing their own internal universe of ideas.
Yeah.
It's almost like building a meta-narrative across everything they do where original content gets revisited and reimagined.
So, okay, looking at this whole massive landscape,
Yeah.
a few big picture questions kind of jump out.
Right.
Based on all these titles, you've got the evocative stuff like Digital Fever Dream, Psychotic, right alongside the more direct Grand Theft Audio, plus these wild remix titles. What kind of genres or musical styles do you think really define their core sound? It feels like they pull from a really wide palette.
It certainly does seem that way. The evidence points to a strong base in electronic music, yeah. Probably covering techno, maybe IDM.
IDM, yeah.
Yeah.
Intelligent dance music.
Right, complex rhythms, intricate sound design, and maybe more experimental electronic stuff, too.
Okay.
The Grand Theft Audio series might, as you say, suggest more sample-based stuff, hip-hop, breakbeat influences maybe, while other titles clearly lean towards more abstract sounds.
And then the remixes.
And their willingness to remix such a broad spectrum just underscores that versatility, deep understanding of different musical languages.
Okay. And what about the sheer volume of remix work and, frankly, the caliber of artists they've remixed? What does that tell us about where they stand in the wider music community?
Oh, that's significant.
To be trusted with reworking iconic tracks? That must say a lot about their reputation, right?
Yeah.
The respect they've earned.
Absolutely. It signifies a high level of recognition. These artists are entrusting them to reimagine their work. That suggests a strong reputation for, quality, innovation,
Yeah,
and a unique sonic perspective that adds something to the original. It's a powerful indicator of their influence and the impact their sound has.
definitely. So finally, the sheer scale of it all, the interconnectedness, originals, series, remixes, collaborations, it really makes you wonder about the dynamic between them. Are Doza Crew and Novak really distinct things with occasional crossovers?
Huh?
Or is it more of a deeply integrated, fluid partnership driving all this energy?
Based on these patterns, it really looks like a highly interconnected ecosystem. While Novapak clearly has their own distinct projects, their own voice, the frequent collaborations across both originals and remixes strongly suggest a core creative partnership right at the center,
Yeah.
and that shared Doza name across so many projects. It also points towards a kind of unified vision, an identity that covers individual efforts too. It's likely a dynamic relationship where individual exploration feeds into this shared creative universe.
Okay, let's try and synthesize this then, our deep dive.
Yeah.
What we've uncovered is, well, Doza Crew and Novak have built this truly immense, incredibly varied body of work. Original compositions, breathtaking remix catalog. They clearly have this wide-ranging musical curiosity, a knack for putting their own stamp on things, and this strong collaborative spirit fueling it all.
Indeed. Their work shows a fascinating interplay between individual artistic journeys and this powerful collaborative synergy. It results in a sonic landscape that's both huge and really detailed. It just invites more exploration, really.
It really does. So here's a final thought for everyone listening. This deep dive, it's really only scratched the surface of this vast sonic world.
Just a glimpse.
So what single-track title, series name, or maybe remix credit sparked your curiosity the most today? And what unexpected things might you uncover if you ventured further into that specific corner of their catalog? Think about that interplay between their own original creations and their unique takes on the music that inspired them. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.